podcast.
Yeah. There's no structure.
It doesn't have to be. Do you want structure?
I don't know.
We
I
can
don't
do
think
it.
so.
And then
Okay.
you editing queen.
You know that.
So
Alright, I'm gonna love this session. Hi girls. I'm Brie.
I'm Keimaya.
And today we're going to just be having a little chit chat, a little powwow. We're gonna let y'all know off rip. There's no structure to this conversation. There is no, we did not sit here and say, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this. We're just gonna have open, candid conversation. We got some themes that we wanna talk about.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to stay in the theme.
We're gonna try.
We're gonna try.
We're gonna try.
But are we gonna
No
succeed?
promises.
No promises. It's more than likely we will not succeed. But I think that would be to your benefit. Because one thing I love about having conversations with Keimaya is, or you, because I'm talking to you, the fact that we run off on a tangent, but it's so full. You know? I always leave feeling full when I talk to you.
Likewise.
So I feel like this will be the perfect opportunity for us to talk. Want to get started?
Yes, let's get started.
Okay, so if you guys know, recently we hosted an event called Planting Sunday Seeds about almost a month ago. It's been a month.
It's been about a month, yes. Dang.
Don't get me started. Because what time? Okay, so I recently founded a social wellness community here in Birmingham called Bloom in Motion. And we just wanted to kind of piggyback off of the conversation that we were starting with planting Sunday seeds, okay? Having a layered conversation surrounding the concept of planting intentions, but also our journeys as creatives, getting to this point of acknowledging and accepting this role, walking into this newness.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. But before we do, we're gonna introduce ourselves a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah?
let's do that.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, I gotta go first. I think you're gonna do that. Okay, y'all. So, like Brie said, or like I said, my name is Keimaya. Born and raised here in good old Birmingham, Alabama, and I've always been a creative girly. Grew up crafting, thrifting, making my own jewelry, making my own clothes. I was just always doing something very creative. Writing in particular is where I kind of are they gonna talk over me?
I mean, just a little
Okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, we just might act like y'all don't hear that.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all do or don't. We don't know what the
We
camera's
don't know
picking
what the
up.
camera's picking up, but writing is kind of the creative path or gift that I've kind of leaned into the most. And so I always tell people I started writing because I had a smart mouth, and my mom was just like, "Here's a journal," and I was like, "You know what? I can cuss people out in my journal. In my journal." So writing has just always been a gateway for me to express myself. I grew up pretty shy and kind of reserved, so I use style in writing and just stories to kind of say the things I didn't always feel comfortable communicating or saying outwardly. So yeah, like I said, just grew up a creative girly, but as most of us kind of do, we're taught to kind of be realistic and go down a certain path, and those are good as hobbies, but what about reality and
how you
pay bills? And so I feel like I'm in a season of just kind of circling back, doubling back on what was always there, what was always intended to be, but maybe I just kind of lost sight of. So yeah, is that a good introduction?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
I think so.
Okay.
I have a question to piggyback off of that, but we'll talk about that after I introduce myself.
Yes.
So that was the first question.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm Brie. I have recently entered the 30s club. I've actually been here for about 5 months, almost 6 months. And I'm loving her so far. It's she's giving very free. She's giving, I don't care.
She don't.
That's how you feel. I don't feel that way.
That's how you
Those are your feelings. We don't possess the same. So, similarly to Keimaya, I've always been creative, but I never acknowledged that I was creative. I knew that I had gifts and passions to do things, but I never was you are a creative person, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never gave that to myself. But growing up, I sung, so I was always been into music. So that's when I got a chance to go to college. I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta. I did not finish, but I was enrolled. I did it. I went.
I was there.
I went there. I made friends and everything. I went there. But I did not graduate. So I'm technically a college dropout.
Dang.
Yeah. That's a personality trait. No? I don't know.
You're that could be one of your fun facts.
Yeah, that's a fun fact.
Because I just always assumed that you
Everybody always thinks that happened, and it did not.
That's your fun fact.
Thank you.
Don't ever think you have a fun fact that you don't have. Because you do. But continue.
So I went to school in Atlanta and I studied audio production. And after about a year and a half, almost 2 years, I was like, yeah, girl, we're gonna go home. And so I came back to Birmingham. And in most recent years, about 5 years ago, I launched my body care brand called Marley Avenue. And I can't wait to kind of talk about that journey. We probably won't get into all that today because we'll be here all day if we did that. But that little seed that I planted within Marley Avenue ended up blossoming into a bunch of other creative efforts. Like now I'm doing makeup. I never looked at myself as a makeup artist. Content creation for myself and others, producing content, things of that nature. And now to the point of becoming a founder of a group. I think community is something that I've always longed for. And instead of waiting for someone else to create the spaces that I want to exist, taking the initiative to say, okay, let's do it. Let's figure out how to maneuver it. Let's plant this seed and see what it can grow into. So that's me. I let people know it gets a little messy over here. And I lead with that.
And I think that's part of being a creative. Who's creating something from a neat, organized, sterile place? Don't just drop the mic.
Because I'm like, nobody.
Exactly.
No. And if you are, I mean,
good for you. Good for you.
I can't relate though. So I'm here to show up for the girls who it gets a little messy for, but we get it done regardless. We gonna show up. So yes, that's me. I'm Brie. It's nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you guys.
I hope that in this conversation you not only leave with some nuggets, but you also grasp our personalities, who we are, and how we're showing up. Because this year we're challenging ourselves to really go there.
We're going there. We're leaning in. We're stepping into it. No more fear.
No.
Fear is in the body bag. Hello.
I'm here and I have something to say. I have recently, I've told Keimaya, the girls who probably, and when I say girls, everybody's the girls. I don't want y'all to just think I'm specifically talking. Yes, very gender neutral term. We got a lot of people with a lot of audacity that probably should not have the space to talk out loud. But it'd be the girls who be having a lot of things to say, and we just I don't know. Nah, we got something to say. So we gonna talk, okay? So, I have a question.
Okay, perfect. I love questions.
Okay, queen of questions. Let's see. I screenshotted them.
Okay,
hold on. Okay, so if you had to introduce yourself without mentioning what you do,
oh my God,
how would you describe who you are?
How would I describe who I am? Ooh, I would describe myself as a sensualist.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
And the reason I would use that word is because I just feel like I just love being in tune with my senses, and I think that's why I love being a creative.
Yeah.
You have to really be present, in your body, and for instance, I love listening to music or sound, or the birds are chirping in the background, or smells. I love candles and essential oils, and I have my diffuser that I've been taking everywhere. Things like that are just, I don't know. I love being in my body. I love dancing, while I'm getting ready, and just I would call myself a sensualist.
Okay.
Hello, sensualist. That's a really good question. You put it on your W-2?
Oh my goodness, yeah, you might as well.
$10.99?
Yeah, $10.99. Thank you for that. Actually, I love that.
How would you answer that question?
Ooh, okay. I didn't know we were gonna reverse.
We don't have to, but I'm curious.
What was the question again?
Repeat it.
Yeah, okay. Why am I asking questions when I don't know what I'm asking? Let's see. If I had to introduce myself without mentioning what I do, how would I describe? Oh Jesus. Okay. Woo. Okay. Okay, so I think I kind of just let y'all in a little, a second ago. I'm a feeler. I'm a feeler. I feel my way through the earth.
I think that's how it's supposed to be.
I feel like I kind of growing up, some conditioning that I've been conditioned into, I would say, environmentally, it was kind of seen as a weakness. And so I didn't know I didn't strengthen it because nobody was helping me strengthen that, the feeling. And so when I talk about being a feeler, it's not because I'm emotional. I'm really not an emotional person, but I'm a sensitive person. I sense my way through relationships, through conversations, through the room, wherever I'm at. And I think that's how like God talks to me, like through my senses. So I would just simply say, if I had to, I would say I'm a feeler. Yeah, I'm very in tune.
That's why I said sensualist. Yeah, I relate to like being sensitive to like who you're with or where you're around, or like I don't know. To your point, we're not really taught that it can be a superpower, but I said that I think it should be that way because so many times we can let our mind. I read a quote. It was like, your mind is for processing, but not for making decisions. Like, because we can make a decision from our mind, but it's like, what is our body saying? Like, what are we actually feeling? What you feel could be different than what sounds good
in your head. And I think the feeling that you feel in your body is more, I think you get more direction out of that because the mind can be framed by the environment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like if I've grown up in a certain environment and people talk to you a certain way, or like I'm used to, if it was yelling, not saying that was my experience, but people constantly yell at me or they're constantly telling me, this is what you gotta do, this is what you're gonna do, this is what life is about. Yeah. I start training my mind to like wrap around what I've been conditioned to believe. And then I go out into the world and I'm struggling because from a feeling standpoint, it doesn't feel natural. Exactly. I don't gravitate towards what you're implementing or depositing into me. So yeah, I show up that way now, and I hope that I also provide that space when I'm encountering other people.
Yeah. I think you do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. I love that. Okay. Also, do you have a question?
So my question might be something we get into a little later.
Oh!
I don't think we're ready for it yet.
We're not ready?
We're not ready for that yet.
Why does this look so good?
Oh, this little thing. I'm kidding. You know, I am a writer. We'll wait for it. It's not ready yet.
Okay.
It's still simmering.
Okay, let me ask you another one. Okay, let's see. What do we have? What's a seed of intention you planted for yourself this year that's quietly but powerfully beginning to bloom?
Girl, got chills a little bit. No, what's so crazy is that, and I think I'm gonna try not to get emotional.
But if you do,
oh gosh. But no, like I think I was telling you how just you seeing me and you being like, oh, Keimaya, I want you involved in this, has truly been an answered prayer. Because at the beginning of the year, I was like, look, girl, you too gifted to be just quiet. Yeah. Like it's time to get off of the sidelines. Like you spent a lot of time like pouring into other people's endeavors. Yeah. And you know, with a marketing background, I don't think I mentioned it in my intro, but like I worked in the marketing space. Yeah. And so a lot of marketing is helping other people bring their visions to life and communicating like their storytelling and their brand narrative and all those things. But it's like, well, what about you? Yeah. What about you though? Like that's great. What about you? And so this was the year where I was like, no, you're going all in on you. And part of that was like, I want to like use my voice more. I want to use my voice more. I want to use my gift of writing and holding space for people more. And I had kind of put like maybe host writing events or like a writing circle or something. I don't know. And then you hit me up and it's just like, so there's this thing, you know, I already pretty much put your name down, but like I just need your yes. I just need your yes. Because that's exactly what I said. He was like, so you're actually already kind of on the flyer, but we can change it if you say no. And so that I feel is starting to kind of like take form of like just me stepping into the space of being more like a facilitator. Like I wouldn't say I'm done writing. Like I do feel like I have like more books and stuff to release. But after I spent some time like teaching, being a teaching like writer, or sorry, a teaching artist is what they call it. I was teaching writing. Okay. I'm kind of stepping back a little bit where it's like I just want to hold space for other people to express through writing. I'm gonna still get my thoughts off. Like my journal, we're not gonna miss a beat. But like I really feel myself kind of leaning into more of like a facilitator or just medium or holder of the space. And so that I feel is taking form, and you've definitely, your alignment has blessed my alignment. You know, so.
I love to hear that. I am, I feel like I've told you this before, but I am a firm believer, and this is something that I'm telling myself now that keeps me out of stuck, is that your yes is attached to other people's prosperity. Yes. And so like if you have a vision or something is like pressing you, there are people attached to whatever that thing is. Like there's always someone attached. And when you're not putting any emotion behind that thing, you holding up the girls. So imagine had I not said, you know what, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna just whatever. not saying it was totally reliant on me,
but I get what you mean.
But that space you may not have like walked into it fully because the opportunity may have not presented itself, and you may not have had. Remember we were just talking the other day, and I was saying about like being a visionary.
Yes.
And you were like, sometimes you be struggling with the vision a little bit. Like I can show up in the space.
Yes.
But the root vision. So I feel like for me, as a visionary, I'm like, girl, you gotta just start saying yes.
Yes.
Now don't say yes to everything.
Yeah.
But something that's pressing on you, say yes because it's gonna bless other people. We're bringing it. It comes full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Piggybacking. Listen, let's write a track right now. Okay, piggybacking off of that, I guess I do kind of have a question for you.
Ooh, okay.
Because something that I just admire about you and just want to give you your flowers for is that you're gonna execute.
Oh.
Like, I wrote a newsletter recently about like, maybe I need a midwife.
Yeah.
It was about like, birthing my dreams.
Yes.
I be getting blocked. When it's time to push, I be clenching up.
Clenching up.
That's not to say that doesn't happen to you,
Yeah.
but I will say you just feel like such a clear channel of execution. Like Marley Avenue, okay, let me do it. Cooking for people, okay, I'm gonna do that. Makeup, it's like and I just want to know more about like your process of execution. Like what keeps you from getting, because I think a lot of creatives, speaking for myself at least, we get the idea. Girl, I got an idea.
Yeah.
But is it done? Is it been executed? And so I think that can hold a lot of creatives up. It's just like that lack of action or execution. And then we spend so much time in our head, we fall out of love with the idea, but it's like, no, it's still a really good idea. You just didn't get in motion. So just talk to us about your process.
I think maybe not everything, but if I started with Marley Avenue, the idea, the seed was planted in like 2015, 2016, but I didn't actually execute it until 2020, 2021. That was that time period in between where I was just sitting, not doing it. I think in that space, by the time I did bring life to Marley Avenue, it triggered something in me that was like, no more. Like that amount of time that you wasted between 2016-ish to 2021, girl,
never again.
Never again. And I don't like to get caught up in the, I could be here by now or this, that, or that, because I feel like my process is playing out the way that it's intended to.
Yeah.
But ever since about 2021, I would say anything that has come up from a creative standpoint, I don't sit on it too long.
Okay.
I don't feel like I always executed perfectly, but what I have been loving is the fact that I'm just doing.
Yeah.
Because in the doing, that's what's producing the experience. And it's also producing trust within myself to get to a point to now where I'm at Bloom Emotion. And the idea to the video was like 2 days. Like I got the deposit in 2-3 days. I shot the video. I put it on
the next
media,
month,
like literally like in a week, and then the night that I put it up, or the next morning I woke up and I had like 300 comments on the video. I'm like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But there was a muscle that has been strengthened in the last 5 years, because now I've trusted myself to say, you know what? It really don't take all that to get it started. It really doesn't take all that.
We self-sabotage.
Yeah, we absolutely do, and I still do. Okay. I still do. But back to the being a feeler, I feel things so intensely, and in the moment I'm like, oh, this is we gotta do this. I gotta, like, this is it. Like, this is the moment. This is what I have to do. And then there are some things like cooking.
Okay.
When that was pressing on me, it was like, hell no. Nah, you're tripping.
I think you might have dropped this on the wrong person.
Yeah, you're tripping, bro.
Like, you know the movie Soul where the cat and him end up in the wrong body?
Yes.
You sent the wrong idea to the wrong person.
That's how, it was pressing on me in a way that I was like, hey, bro, we doing a lot. You know what I mean? We doing a lot. This ain't necessary.
Hey, bruh.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Because I'm not a chef. I'm not a chef, right? I'm not a chef. I just started, to be honest.
Okay.
I started cooking during the pandemic.
Okay.
Like, really.
Like for the first, like, kind of thoroughly?
Yeah, like really trying out new recipes. Like, I had some staples, like I was good for.
Okay.
But I was like, nah, let's try to do a little bit of everything.
We got time.
I had just started doing that. And not even a year later, I'm getting the downloads of you need to start a cooking little. I don't like to call it a cooking business.
It was a cooking business.
Okay, so it was a cooking business. And if you missed that era, it was called Eat with Brie Forever. Okay, and basically every week or every Sunday, I would do like a menu, and then I would either deliver your food or you can come pick it up. And we would do a full-blown menu.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we would do an entree. I had a signature punch.
Okay.
And a dessert, and it was all, you got all of that for like $25. And so it started to spread because a lot of people on my job, I was working at FedEx at the time,
Okay.
they would want plates, so it was just kind of organically growing
Okay.
from there. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But behind that idea, I had someone that actually deposited into me in 2021, about June of 2021.
Okay.
I was like, you need to start selling plates. And I was like, yeah, nah.
So when did you actually be like, okay, I'm gonna do it?
August of 2021.
Okay, that's still not bad.
No, it wasn't that much time.
Yeah.
But when the initial seed was planted,
You were just like,
I was like, yeah, no, I love cooking for me and whoever came over that day.
Yeah.
But and really the thought behind it is food and people. People have opinions.
They do have opinions.
And if I made something and someone didn't like it, that would crush me.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people didn't like
Exactly.
it. I missed the mark.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, are we like? Why would I put myself in that line of fire? Why would I do that? I could sing on a stage.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Which you're still gonna do that.
Oh,
So
maybe I should have said that.
we never forgot.
I knew that. You know,
Because I do have an album I need to make, and you thought I was gonna be the vocalist. I don't have that talent. But continue. Sorry, we were talking about to me.
because it's the way you just put that on me.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
No need to say sorry. So, but in that process, I remember the thing that truly inspired me was, hey, babes, those bills ain't gonna pay themselves. And one thing about it is, I've given you these talents. You gonna use what you got to get what you need.
You know what? I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait. Oh, he's kind of romantic. I'm gonna let you finish. You know who said that? Okay. We can't really make those references. We gonna get into that.
Okay. It was the one thing that I feel like I was the most sensitive to.
Okay.
That came before makeup.
Okay.
Makeup had its own sensitivity.
Okay.
But that was the first time that I built this trust within myself to say, stop worrying about all of that. Because the second I started doing it, it just started to explode.
Yeah.
And no one ever came to me and was like, I hated that. People only sung my praises. And I don't say that in a way that means like I'm not used to criticism or anything.
Yeah.
But it was more so confirmation that you are supposed to take some space right here, even if it's not a forever thing, for this particular season. And I learned a lot about myself, about my capabilities. And from a money standpoint, like I said, because it came at the time that I needed it. Some bills had to get paid. Because this is something I need people to know about me. I think this is something the girls don't know about me. Okay, let's cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. What y'all don't know? For just a second, let's just pop it. What the girls don't know, I'm gonna get it. Like, I'm a hustler.
And I respect that about
Don't
you.
ever play with me.
Ever.
What do you
I
mean?
never would.
I'm gonna figure it out.
It will.
I'm gonna use these hands and I'm gonna get these big.
Hey.
I'm gonna use it. And I think that that's the way that God speaks to me. So it's like, hey, you got this talent, you didn't know you had it. Somebody's gonna come, they're gonna give you a message. You're gonna ignore it. About a month or two later, you're gonna like start to sit on it, and
You're gonna ignore it.
Yeah, because I am. I'm gonna say, nah, I'm not with that. I'm not looking into that right now.
Yeah.
And then about a series of other events are gonna present themselves, and
Yeah.
it's like, remember that thing I told you 2 months ago?
Mhm.
Now's the time. Okay, let's do
Okay.
it. And even like with makeup, that I was thrown into makeup.
Okay.
Never a day in my life did I ever say, I don't really think about it.
But it always like it's so just the way you show up, and the people who don't know you, once they meet you, they'll see this. It's just like the things that you say like gonna come natural to you or you never thought about. It just feels so effortless. Like when you started posting yourself doing makeup, I was like, oh, so she basically like looks good. Like it just looks and feels like you've been doing this for a very long
Oh
time.
my goodness, I'm happy to hear that. Even though that's not what it feels like when I'm like,
I know you're the one on the other side.
Yeah.
It's just like, cause I don't know about you, but sometimes I get caught up in like, maybe I need credentials for this, or maybe I should go to school for this.
Yes.
Or let me read more books about this before I act. And it's just like, sweetheart, the credentials are embedded.
Yeah.
Like, just do
if
it.
the systems of college and all the things did not exist, then what? They do, and I'm not saying it's not necessary.
Right. But if they
did it,
we would figure it out.
You have to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's always a way. You just gotta be willing to figure that out.
Yeah.
I think with that, so very quick short story. Long story short, in 2022, April of 2022, my younger sister was a photographer for a wedding, and she needed me to be her assistant.
Okay.
So I went with her, and I'm a makeup girly.
Yeah.
As in, I do my makeup. I love a makeup team.
Yeah.
I do my makeup. You know what's so crazy looking back is the morning that I was doing my makeup, I felt like my makeup would be recognized that day. I didn't know in what way though.
Can I just say something? I love being intuitive.
Yeah.
Because like you'll just feel something and you're like, I don't know why I feel this. Yeah. But I'm gonna see why I feel
this. Yes, absolutely.
But continue. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Like a drug now. So
I be craving like when my intuition talking about, I'm like, hey, you said like, no, here's a mic.
Yeah. A little louder, please. Thank you. Okay.
Wait, let's chat. Okay. You had a feeling that your makeup was gonna be recognized.
Yes. And so go to this wedding. Long story short, the makeup artist for the bride didn't show. And so her family comes to me and was like, "We're gonna need you to do her makeup." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not."
The fact, like, did they know you?
No.
They was like, "Hey, Miss Beat Face."
Quite literally.
Hey, Miss Beat Face. Literally. We need you in the back.
Hey, I know you her sister. We know her. Your face looks good. She ain't got no makeup artist. Can you go ahead and do that? We need that. And I'm like, "Oh, I don't do that. Like, I'm not a makeup artist.
You do it today."
And they're like, "Oh no, we trust you." And I'm like, "Oh no, it's not about you trusting me. I'm not doing that. I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. I know how to do my face. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know anything about that." And they were literally like, "I hear the words coming out your mouth, but I don't care about it. Here are the brushes. That's the makeup. This is the product. This is that. Get started."
They were like, "Okay, that sounds good, but here's the makeup."
And that's exactly how it happened. And I'm doing makeup. And it turns out, now when I look back at it now, I'm like, oh my God. Like,
that's so cool.
You know,
like, I just think that's so cool.
Literally. It's
like life is on your side. Like, life is supporting you.
You know? And literally, ever since then, I started doing makeup.
Yeah.
If that moment never happened, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I would have never picked up a paintbrush or a makeup brush.
Mm-hmm.
So let me do that, you know? And now I've done hundreds of faces. I've had all these different encounters, and taking up space in the beauty industry in the way that I have been afforded to has opened up a whole new perspective that I didn't see in a way that I could tie back into Molly Avenue.
Yeah.
So everything's connected.
It is.
At the end of the day.
It is.
I feel like I was a little long-winded.
And that's okay, because I've told you a couple of times we will be hearing your life story. Book, podcast, panel, second book. Like, the girlies,
they want to know?
They want to know, they need to know.
Okay.
If they don't want to know, they going to want to know when it's time to know.
Okay.
So, don't you worry about being
Let me tell y'all something about Keimaya real quick.
No!
This is an affirmation walking, okay? This is affirmative action. This girl is going to
this is affirmative
action. Do you hear me? She's going to speak life into you every single time. You know what? And I don't even have to go looking for it. I don't have to go looking for it.
And you shouldn't have to. I do have another question for you, but I wonder, I know you just said a lot.
No,
and that's not to say, like,
talk to me.
That you take those days.
Yeah.
But, like, if you want to have a time to do that, I was just talking, so you say something. But I do have a couple of questions.
Talk to me.
Okay, so this will go in a couple of ways.
Okay.
My first question, you mentioned how you had first been presented with, like, the concept or maybe the idea of Marley Avenue, but it took time before it became, like, a thing.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about what you've learned about timing and creativity, because I feel like what I've realized is that it can take time to give birth to something. Like, I got the idea, I got the name for my first book. I got that in 2019. It just hit me. It was just like, oh, that's the name of your book.
Yeah.
Name, cover, like, clear as day. I didn't actually, and this is to my fault, but I feel like I released it when it needed to be released. I didn't actually release it till 2021, 2022?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people think idea to concept is an overnight thing, and it's not always an overnight thing.
No.
So I want you to speak to that. That's number one. And then number two, I would love, you talked about how you know, you were giving these gifts, why not be well resourced because of them? And I think that's a whole other conversation that, you know, creatives, like, we try to get paid for our creativity, but for me personally, I feel like I have a lot of like blocks there. And so I would love to just, let's start with the timing question. But whichever one you want to go with first.
We'll go with timing, and I'm going to try my literal hardest to not be long-winded.
Do what you want to do.
But I'm a storyteller at heart. And I feel like that's how we bring content.
And they want to know.
Y'all want to know?
They're watching for a reason.
About it. Okay, so.
Go grab a snack.
Please do. Because we here. I don't know what you're doing. I hope you got us on the TV or the iPad. Because we about to talk. So what's that? So, you know how I mentioned that I went to school for audio production? I wanted to be a singer. When I left school, I came home, so this is 2014.
Okay.
Like October-ish of 2014, I was turning 20 in December, right?
Okay.
And around that time, I was running a music blog. I kind of forgot about that.
You know what? You're gonna be one of those people, because like you said, you just entered the 30s club. You'll be one of those like 80-year-olds. It's like, yeah, I was like singing on Broadway for a few years or whatever. Like you still have a house full of like souvenirs.
Yeah.
And they're like, girl, what did you have the time?
From every era.
Every era.
Yeah.
But continue.
So in college, I actually started. It's called Young, Talented, and on the Rise.
Okay.
And I wanted to create this space where creatives, whether you're a dancer, singer, whatever rapper, up and coming, had spaces for like interviews and like a platform to put their music and stuff like that. Because girl, who's gonna get on Complex? How am I gonna get to Complex? How am I gonna get on 106 Park? Even though that wasn't a thing anymore.
She said, who's gonna get on Complex?
How? I don't have the connects. And so creating a space where like that could, you know,
happen. Yeah.
And so when I came back to Birmingham, I was still doing that. I started kind of like having writers come on. I would use my friends. So I had different segments. I had Taylor, she came on, and she was doing like a little playlist for us, and like all these things. Angela came on as a writer too.
Okay.
So yeah. So in the midst of that, I also had this vision for a Black girl wellness shop called House of Melanin. Yeah.
Where's that?
Well,
cause are we destiny partners?
I think so.
Cause I kind of, you know, I want a little wellness creative studio.
Yeah.
And just keep talking.
Okay.
I'm noticing.
Because you already know.
I wasn't familiar, but I'm familiarizing. Continue.
In that little era of House of Melanin, I'm picturing t-shirts, I'm picturing coffee mugs, I'm picturing candles, body butters, body scrubs, like just a Black girl friendly wellness space. And I was jotting down the ideas. This is 2015, 2016 era, and I started working a job.
Okay.
So at the time I'm like 21.
Okay.
I started working a job, and then I started working 2 jobs. And not only did I start doing that, other distractions started coming in. Around the time that I was trying to birth House of Melanin, I also started my YouTube career.
Okay.
So I have a whole other channel that has like a lot of old videos and stuff like that, but she's private, so y'all will never find it, okay? Y'all will never. Because I started working full time, all of my creative efforts went to the side. I no longer, I don't know what happened.
You know what? And that's so crazy because that's part of what my girl.
Really?
Keep going.
Okay.
See?
Well, I do know what happened, but I don't know if I'm ready to tell y'all that yet. Nonetheless, in that time frame, so about almost 6 years, I went to the back burner. I started focusing on everything else. Okay. And in the midst of that, I was also growing up. I was becoming an adult. Yeah. And so when you don't create that pocket of space to continue creativity, it's almost as if you just lose it. Like you lose, like there's a bridge that you walk over to say, you know what, I'm gonna go over to this side. Yeah. You lose it. That bridge crumbles.
And it's like you have to start all over.
You gotta brick by brick build that bridge back so that you can get back to that other side of creativity. Yeah. I lost everything. Okay. I didn't even think about I did not function as a creative being at all. That was very trying when I think about it. Okay. Pandemic. The pandemic happened. No. Let's back up. Okay? So between like 2016 to about 2018, in my mind, I still want to do this thing. At this time, I'm probably like I'm 23. Okay. But I think I got time. And in another conference of conversation, you always have time. right? But I'm like, girl, we'll figure out that dream stuff later. We here right now.
That dream stuff
I'm young and
crazy
tired right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to focus on that.
Okay.
So it was really me.
Okay.
I thought I had more time.
Okay.
I was not prioritizing gifts or creativity.
Okay.
I had a conversation with my dad actually, and this is late 2018, and randomly I was getting ready to come back to Birmingham, and he was like, if you ever decide that you want to have a business, make sure that you pick a name for your business that is marketable across all demographics, not just specifically to Black people. Mind you, I never told him about House of Melanin or anything like that. I never talked about having a business to anyone. And so then I'm thinking to myself, I was like, this is valuable information, but I'm like, nah, House of Melanin is it. Like
it's gonna eat.
That's my baby. Like I need that.
Yeah.
You know? But that was a seed.
Yeah.
Did not realize it. That was a seed.
Absolutely.
About 6 months later, one day I'm on Instagram and I get a message from a girl that lives in Chicago. She says, hey, do you own this page? Because House of Melanin used to be my actual Instagram name.
Okay.
But then I changed it and I kept that. I made a separate account.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So she messages me and says, hey, I saw this @ name that only follows you and Beyonce.
It ain't Beyonce's. So
it
must
be
yours.
It's gotta be you. So, and why was the page just following me and Beyonce?
As it should.
You ain't wrong.
Good taste.
Yes. Know me. You already know what it is when it comes down to it. So she was like, I was wondering, do you own that handle? And I was like, yeah. And so she was like, well, I have a beauty supply store here in Chicago, and it's called House of Melanin.
Oh.
And her @ name was House of Melanin Beauty, and she wanted just House of Melanin.
Okay.
And she was like, I was wondering if, you would be willing to give it to me. And I told her, I said, at first I was like, the audacity. Girl, no, I have a business. I'm naming this thing.
You said,
like,
what about me?
What about me? This is mine. I've had this name for years. And I can speak to that because I am a firm believer that when you have when God deposits an idea, ideas, please listen to me when I say this. Ideas are energy. Ideas are not just something that just comes to you. When you are afforded an idea, that's why I act so fast on what I get. Because think of it as it's fleeting.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna pick it and say, I'm gonna push it.
Absolutely.
So if it comes to you, do it. Because if you do not, you'll lose it. And then somebody else will go and create the very thing that you'll be like, wait.
But yeah, it's like ideas, sometimes they don't always care about who is the vessel. It's like ideas are like, we gotta get this out.
I just need to be born.
Like this needs to be out into the world. If you don't get on it, okay.
You don't wanna be mother?
Next caller.
You don't wanna be mother?
Not you don't want. You don't wanna be mother? Cause surrogate.
Oh, I'm gonna get out. I'm coming regardless. I'm going to be birthed. I was trying to give you the opportunity to be mother.
This could have been you.
This could have been you, but you didn't want that.
Yeah,
absolutely. You sat on that. And
exactly.
When she came to me and she was like, she needed the name, at first, in real life, I'm like, oh, that's it. But then I sat on it and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can figure something out.
Okay.
So I told her, I said, this is February of 2019, I said, if I can come up with something else, then you can have it. It wasn't until about a few years later that I realized, it took me 6 months to get back with her.
Okay.
In October of 2019, I decided, I was like, or in between that time frame, I was like, what would I name it? What would I name it? What would I name it? And then I started thinking, I was like, I want it to be something meaningful. But I'm like, my name is so cliche. Everybody named Mama's name is Brianna. So no, it's not even that.
Yeah.
And I started thinking with my niece. She's my only niece, and her name's Marley. And you don't know about Marley.
I love the name Marley.
I do too.
That's the name I wanted to name, if I ever had a daughter.
I was like, I wanted to be Marley, but Marley what?
Yeah.
And I'm not even joking or lying when I say, one day I'm laying in the bed, I'm scrolling on Twitter, and I saw the word Avenue, and it clicked immediately. Actually, I saw Ave, and I don't know what triggered me to say Marley Ave. And I said, wait, I sat up.
You were like, okay, actually.
Marley Ave. And then I went to my notes app and I typed it out because I have to see it.
Yeah.
And I said Marley Ave, and then under it I put Marley Avenue, and I was like, oh no, that is too bad.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So that was the next. That girl, she came in, and that's kind of like a seed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like a shifting point because it was no longer that.
Yeah.
You would have been creating something totally different.
Absolutely.
And mind you, like I said, the Black girl wellness space was really what I was trying to bring to life. With Marley Avenue, I don't know what made me start with body butters. I don't.
Yeah.
I always was a body scrub girl. I have a fire body scrub. Okay. Look, I'm just saying, start with the butter.
Yeah.
So even in the timing, all of these different things had to happen to shift. So I think that that's what's important about timing and not rushing the process.
Yes.
Because everything literally does not come to you at once.
Yes.
Similar to what you were saying. And so like if I did not take heed to like what my dad said to me in 2018, girl, the business would still be called House of Melanin.
Yes.
But I also would be fighting with somebody else in a legal battle to figure out who was going to have her. No, but Marley Avenue, that's personal to me.
Yeah.
That's my niece.
Yeah.
Like, how you gonna tell me?
I know her.
I know her in real life, but that's my girl.
I love what you said about not rushing it, because that's something that I struggle with. Is I just be like, I ain't got time. We gotta do this, and I feel like I'm getting a redo. So in my early 20s, of course, I like worked in corporate and and then of course the pandemic happened. And I was very real with myself. I was like, you don't want to do this corporate. You don't want to ladder shit. This doesn't sound good. Like, this ain't it. And so, during the pandemic, I did go like really hard on like my book and my creativity. Like, that was kind of like a reunion with the parts of me that I kind of put aside. Like, earlier in our video, I was talking about, I've always been creative, but I just felt like survival and like achievement and climbing the corporate ladder, that was the stuff that was gonna like be my security and my stability. And so I feel like my early 20s was like my first kind of hand at it, but I rushed. Like I was trying to rush everything, and I thought I knew everything, and like I was just moving like this. And so I feel like now I'm kind of like planting those deeper roots with my creativity, and I'm doing brick by brick by brick, and I'm seeing that like I like it better, even though I'm still like kind of impatient. It's like I like this better because everything is clicking as it needs to.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I think that's the beauty of like your story. Like a lot of people, it could sound like almost too good to be true, but it's like, no, you were exactly where you needed to be. Where you needed to be there. You were open for what you needed to hear. You were open for what you needed to get out of each experience. And I do think we rob ourselves of that when we're just like trying to rush and bypass our way into like an outcome.
Absolutely. And thinking that, I tell people all the time, one of my favorite things about myself, and something I challenge myself to be consistent in, I don't know everything, is being open to hearing. You never know who is the vessel.
Exactly.
You never know who is coming to tell you something and how that thing will impact the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
One little message, seed planted, is the thing that is connected to the next. And when we miss that little thing, it throws you off course. It can. Not to say it will make up your entire story, it might just shift it a little bit. But you never know who's coming through with a little one too.
You never know. And you never know who or when. Because that's the kicker too.
Absolutely. And I think being like because why are you doing all this? My last question for you.
Okay.
How has being a creative helped you reconnect with your inner child or a part of you once silenced?
Oh my gosh. Such a great question. You said, how has being a creative helped me connect to my inner child? Or like maybe I guess like reclaim or put on display a part of me I once silenced?
Yes.
Honestly, giving myself permission to your point, step into the identity of like, oh, I'm a creative. Like, that has changed everything. Like, it's changed the way I show up in my day to day. It's changed like my confidence. It's just changed everything. And I think because so much of my inner child is very creative energy, like I feel like my inner child, if you could just imagine like baby Picasso or something, I don't know, like my inner child is that. Like my inner child is very just like, I want to play and have fun and explore and just like, that's like my inner child. And I think leaning more into my creativity allows me to kind of interact with life from more of a like playful, joyous place. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, during like in the eras where I wasn't tending to my creativity as much, like maybe college or like getting like my first big girl job, like all those kind of seasons where it was like hustle, survival, stability, you know, I was not happy.
Oh, okay.
My mental health suffered. Like, the Keimaya that everyone sees now, they're like, oh my gosh, you're glowing. They're like, what do you do? Like, that's because I'm letting myself play.
Yeah.
Like, that's because I'm being a creative now. Like, in those eras where it was just so, and that's not to say there's anything wrong with working corporate or, you know, any, like, if that was, I wish I could just, girl, if my brain could let me, I would be rich.
Hello.
You think I want to be like this? You think I chose this? You think? Is this thing hard? Like, in those eras, my mental health just plummeted. Like, I'm realizing now that creativity is almost like a life force for me. Mm-hmm. Like, even if I'm not, because I think sometimes we are intimidated by the term creative because we think it has to mean this big production.
I think we think it has to mean something.
We think it has to mean something, but like, you making your morning tea, you're being a creative.
Yeah.
Like, the way you style your outfit, your hair, the way you brush your teeth, like, those are all creative things in motion because you're not doing it the way anyone else is doing it. You know, and so I think just reclaiming that in my everyday kind of day to day, I feel a lot more at peace. I feel a lot more confident. Like, I feel like I'm in my element a lot more.
Do you feel like you remember yourself as a child? Like the essence of who you were as a child? Or when you think back on your childhood, do you look through a lens of like, not sorrow, but like, wow, I wish I had experienced it differently?
Yeah, I always say that I just wish more people would have empowered me. Because, I just wish more people would have empowered me because when it got to the point, so to give you kind of my vision as a kid, these are all things I knew as a child. Okay. Don't ask me how. I was moving to New York. I was gonna be working in fashion. Yeah. Somehow, some way, I was gonna be acting and modeling as well. Okay. And then I was gonna be a chef. Period. That's what I was gonna do. I had never been to New York. Didn't know nobody. But I was going to live in New York. Yeah. And there would be times where my dad is so funny. Like, there would be times where a New York summer camp or something would come up for like kids interested in fashion, and I'd be like, I want to go to this. Yeah. And he'd be like, we can't afford that. But like, I was very like, I knew what I wanted, and I wish that would have been more empowered instead of like, oh, you need to be realistic or blah, blah, blah. Like, when it was time to graduate college, I knew I did not want to go to college. Yeah. I did not want to go to college. I really went to college. I'm grateful I went, but I went because my parents, I didn't get another option. Yeah. Like, it was like, no, you're going. Yeah. But in my heart of hearts, like, I wanted to start my own clothing line. Yeah. I wanted to, become an esthetician and like work in a wellness spa or something like that. Like, I just had these other ideas, and I'm like, I don't really need college for this. Yeah. And I just wish I would have been more empowered in that because I feel like I'm having to circle back and empower me now. And that's not to say that, I can't still be effective, but I'm 27 now. Yeah. That's a lot of BS you gotta kind of struggle out. But yeah, I just feel like, and that's not to your point, like, everything happens for a reason. Yeah. So I'm not tripping about it, but I just wonder how differently things would have panned out had I known, I can be creative and I can sustain myself through this and I can live life this way. Yeah. Because now I'm experiencing that now, but it's taken a lot of empowerment from self and other people.
I love that. Mm-hmm. If I use my mom as an example, I don't know if she'll see this or not. Okay. And I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but my mom is a creative, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of that creative energy and ability has been passed down to me and my sisters. Mm-hmm. But my mom was also forced into a heightened sense of survival. Yes. And so she herself could not take up space as a creative the way that she would have probably loved to. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel like I mourn that for her a little bit because it's had that not been the cards that you were dealt, you would have been able to have a more fulfilling life sooner. Because now she has her jewelry business. She's an artist. She walks in the shoes that she's probably always seen for herself. But this is the time frame that she's been granted to be able to live those things out. And I think sometimes when I look back as a creative, some of the conversations I would have with my mom would be like, oh, well, I want to be a singer. This is it. That's end all. None of that college stuff. That don't even make sense to me. I'm going to be a singer.
Yeah.
Similar to what you were saying, as a kid, I knew. Like, I've always had a very heightened sense of, like, I was here to do something.
Yes.
Profound. It was going to be big.
Same.
Like, y'all gonna know my
Y'all
name.
in my way.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I always tell my parents, I'm like, I don't think y'all knew what y'all gave birth to.
Mm-mm.
Like, move.
Yes.
Like, it's time. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Like,
Go.
I always felt this sense of, like, purpose. Like, the girls gonna know you. They're gonna know your name. You're gonna have some impact. But I don't feel like I was guided in a way or influenced to really embody what that looks like.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, especially now as I'm a little bit older and I can see things from a whole different lens, I've forgiven my mom. Not that I was holding like a grudge or anything, but I can forgive her, because how can you give someone something that you yourself was not able to give yourself, or it was not modeled for you anyway?
Yes.
You know? And so if all I know is, hey, you're gonna have to get a job, you're gonna have to make sure them bill paid, you're gonna have to get it out the mud. And not so much get out the mud, but like, you have to be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be able to fend for yourself in this world. If that's what your conditioning is, it's hard to then say, okay, that is true, but also, this creative.
Yeah.
This not dilly-dally, but like, I want this life of leisure. I want this slower paced life. I want to be able to take my time. I want to be able to do this and that and this and that and that. So it's like, I've had to go through a process of like, it's okay that wasn't your story as far as your upbringing.
It's so interesting because my mom's a writer.
Oh, really?
And
I did not know
exactly. My mom's a writer, and she has her own like clothing kind of business now as well.
Okay.
Like, I grew up crafting with her.
Yeah.
So she was creative really down. Like, that's where me and my sister get it from. Very similar to your mom. She's now kind of like embodying that and like writing more and getting back into that, and like she'll send me videos of her like an open mic. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow, okay.
And I think now she's able to give me the empowerment that I needed then. And to your point, I guess I can give her more grace, because I'll be like, why she didn't give this to me when I was, but it's like, girl, she didn't know either.
She didn't know.
Like, she probably had to empower herself just first to even get there, and then she's able to kind of come back and bring it around. But nowadays, she's like, yeah, you need to go for it, and all that other stuff.
And what I love about my mom now in this era of her life is the boundaries that she's putting in place with us as her children. Because so much of her time has been spent with us, making those type of sacrifices. So it's like, now I have the time to breathe life into the things that I always kind of saw for myself. And so even if I ever have a moment of like, hey girl, I wish you would have, it's like, no, now I'm like, I'm glad you get to.
Exactly.
Like, I'm glad that you're able to give me this advice now. Because technically, I need it now.
Right, this is what we need. Like, it would have been great as kids. We probably would have. It's like, we right in it. We're in the work now.
I'm in the work now. And maybe a beautiful thing, or a beautiful way to look at it, maybe we were meant to go on this journey together.
Yes.
We both had to be in position at a certain season in our lives to have. So I actually cherish that. I started doing pop-up shops first. Yeah. And then that inspired my mom to start. And now she still does them. I haven't done a pop-up shop forever. But she does them now. And I'm just like, if I had never done that first one, she might not have had the courage to put herself out there like that. So I love that. I don't remember what we were even talking about to get to this point.
I don't either. It's okay.
It doesn't matter.
Do you want another question?
I want whatever you have for me.
Oh. Okay, so I guess this will be kind of our last kind of wrap up.
Okay.
You know, wrap up the day. I feel like as creatives, and as creatives who are simultaneously making sure we survive, stay alive, sometimes we might have to take like what I call bridge jobs. Yeah. Where maybe you're in a space where you're like, this ain't where I want to be, but like right now, it's quite literally keeping food on the table and the lights on. I was going to ask you, how do you keep yourself sane or grounded when you might feel like you're in a space where it's like, this is not feeding my creativity, I don't want to be here, I don't want to do this doesn't match anything in my vision, but it's quite literally keeping the repo man from coming to like say, So yeah, I just want to know how you stay sane, how you stay grounded, how do you kind of keep the vision at the forefront when you're maybe in a space where it's like, this does not look like it, but I know I'm on the way.
Yeah.
I know I'm on the way.
You're so good at what you do.
You know, that's why I said this is gonna wait.
Yeah. You're so good at what you do. And you know firsthand. You know, I'm gonna be so honest. In this particular season, this has been the hardest it has ever been to stay sane from this point to the next. And that middle point, it's been the hardest because you know this, but you guys don't. I was recently hired to work as a makeup artist in a department store, and about a week into the employment, they basically told me, "Yeah, girl, you're going to be a regular employee of the store. You're not going to be doing makeup."
I still think that's a scam, Brie. I just want to say, I think that they couldn't hire sales associates, so they were like, "We're going to use that MAC counter to catch them in."
I know you're not wrong.
That's what they did. They smart for it, but they wrong for it.
They wrong. 'Cause girl, I didn't sign up for that.
I didn't, and you know I didn't.
And to the point, I didn't sign up for that. And so, because I did not sign up for that, it's been taking a toll on me in how I show up in the space. Because, like you said, regardless, girl, you're going to have to pay these bills. You still need money. You're still trying to build. You're trying to get from the one place to the next. This last week, I had noticed such a decline in my energy and even my output of energy. As someone who is extremely energetic, very inviting to other people, and very conscious of how people experience me, this past week alone, I was like, oh, girl, you was a little bitchy. I'm not gonna lie. You was a little bitchy.
Yeah.
You were. You really were. And that's not nobody's fault that came up in this store.
Yeah.
It's not, I won't say it's your fault, but you have control over that.
Absolutely.
So, going into this week, I'm so glad you asked this. Going into this week, I'm challenging myself to be more intentional about gratitude, because regardless of the circumstances, whether I signed up for it or not, I'm aware that I need it until the next thing presents itself. And the blockages are not things that are literally like a block in the road. The blockages are mental.
Okay.
And so depending on your mental state, that's what attracts your opportunities. If I'm at work and I'm being a bitch, or I'm not pleasant at the moment, who's to say that an opportunity could have came, or somebody could have told me about something connected to something else? But they said, I don't like her attitude. So I'm not gonna, they didn't even think to, but they could have been carrying something that I needed. And I'm holding my own resentment to the space because I'm like, I ain't
right.
I ain't signed for that. So, and it's not always like that.
Right.
I just noticed this shift in the last week.
I was just gonna say, we might have had the same.
Because
this past week I was like, F all y'all.
I don't really care. No,
I'm not meant to be here.
No way.
Fire me, actually. But no.
Please. Come back to
me.
You know? And just to be very, very honest with you guys, when I first, we got a lot to talk about, guys. I don't even know how to say this without y'all being like, okay, girl, I need more. Well, actually, I'm gonna say this because we gonna talk about it anyway. Not today though. But long story short, when I went full entrepreneur with Marley Avenue, my car was repossessed. I was evicted from my apartment. Okay, girl. So that created a whole other spiral of a lot of teens. Okay, entrepreneurship is not a beautiful. Anyway, y'all, listen. Okay. Anyway.
People aren't choosing entrepreneurship because it's sweet.
Nah.
If we could work, like I think, not to cut you off.
No.
But I gotta give this disclaimer.
Talking.
People think if my brain, like you don't get it.
No.
Like if my brain ain't working.
Yeah.
But if it did, I would be tech bae.
It would be that.
I would be computer science brain. We got the brains for it. It's just that when my body's in those spaces,
this ain't it. It's not it.
I start glitching.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be here. But if I could, not to say that people in corporate have it easier, but you get that steady paycheck. It's certain things you ain't got to worry about.
Benefits?
Girl.
Benefits? Because at 26, you coming off that
insurance.
You coming off that insurance.
Regardless. I look at a job different now. What them benefits talking about?
You got to.
Don't come to me talking about, we just, what about my health insurance?
Yeah. What that premium look
benefits, like? You know when you getting off.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Anyways, I just want to say that we didn't choose creative life. Creative life chose us. Anyways,
and so to say all of that, I'm in a rebuilding stage.
Gotcha.
To where I can't leave a job because if you need a car, and if the car's like just nobody's about to come to you and say, "Hey, girl, here's the keys." I would love that if you know somebody in some city.
So I'm a little delusional sometimes because why can't it happen?
You ain't wrong, queen.
We could walk out of here and they be like, "Car giveaway! We feeling in our spirit to give away a car today." I'm a little delusional, y'all.
If that
but
happened,
I want that for you.
I need that.
Am I delusional?
No. No. No, you're not.
Okay, to your point, no one's just gonna come and hand you.
Nobody's gonna come hand you the keys.
Yeah.
There are elements that I have to work really hard for to rebuild to get to that place. And so those are the things where I have to figure out that sanity in my mind. Like, yeah, girl, I would love, the economy is horrible. You can't just up and quit a job. So regardless of how you're feeling, because these are the cards that you were dealt, I think the test in the season is how bad do you say you want the things that you say you want?
Oh, and you know what? That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good question.
And you've come too far. All the adversity and all of that, I have to recognize in myself. My life may not look structured the way that the other girls. Everybody else might have a car. Everybody might have their own apartment. All the things. But I'm still moving the needle.
Yeah.
I'm still moving the needle.
And I bet too, like you feel more fulfilled.
I do actually.
Like,
I really do.
And I think that can sometimes be the tension with like pursuing maybe a more creative path. Because it's like I'm more fulfilled, but like I want somewhere to stay too.
Yeah.
That'd be nice too.
I would love to like just go for a late night drive. Like what? What are we talking about? Like I don't want to DoorDash Chick-fil-A. Maybe I want to drive there. But I'm blessed because I have community.
Yeah.
And I can call the girls and like, or not even just that. I'm blessed to have a job and I can pay for Uber.
That too.
That. Like, it's those things.
Finding that gratitude.
That's the gratitude.
Yeah.
So that's what ultimately keeps me grounded and sane, understanding the importance of the season that I'm in and not letting the reality overshadow where we're going. Because I already know, girl, it's temporary as hell. We ain't gonna be here long.
I love that. I was just about to say, I think sometimes you really have to hype yourself up to be like, girl, this just a stop. This just a stop on the journey. This a girl. The amount of time you're gonna be here and the amount of time you're gonna be in like where you're supposed to be, two different amounts of time.
We're gonna forget you can work there.
Forget. Someone's gonna have to remind you.
Yeah, like remember that time?
Oh,
I forgot about that. Yeah, actually, well, actually,
yeah.
Yeah, to answer your question, hopefully that answers.
No, that answers it perfectly. I do think it's hard. It really is hard because I had a similar week to you, I'm assuming, where I was just like, I don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. But like, where else am I going to be? Because I've tried applying to some other stuff, but the job market is being the job market and all the things are being the things. And so, to your point, like, not letting fickle feelings. Because that's another episode for another day. But in my immaturity, I used to just be like, oh, I hate that. I would blow my life up almost off of a feeling. And it's like, you just need a little bit more resilience.
Yes.
No one taught you resilience.
No.
That's all that was. You could have saw that through.
Quite literally.
Now you're sitting here looking stupid.
That's just dumb.
Just dumb.
And for what?
But I had to learn. But yeah, to your point, not letting, and your feelings are valid, but it's like, seeing the bigger picture,
yes, and
just knowing that like, okay, I feel this way, and it's because I know that I'm intended for something else.
Yes,
that something else is gonna come, but right now I'm here.
You know, something that I have to get better at is I recognize I have to have space to feel. Yes, and so if I get up and get ready to go to work, I don't have any space to feel. I just gotta go to work.
I'm very similar.
I have to get up and say, let me take time to go sit on the porch with a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. Yes. I may not write in my journal every single day, but even just being outside, being in nature, just realizing, hey girl, you're alive today. We in this. But taking kind of some time to go through those emotions, if that's how you're feeling when I woke up that day, if that's what you're feeling, and then deciding before you walk into the space, this is how I'm presenting myself today, regardless. But I gave myself that space before I even walked into.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I did something similar this week too, where I was like, I woke up in such a bad mood, and I was like, I don't want to go to work. I don't know, blah blah blah, all the stuff. Yeah. But then you know what? I took a shower, and I got really cute, and I said, I'm gonna go to the farmers market this California.
Yeah.
Oh, you love a farmer's market. I know you. Like, that's the beauty in, like, knowing you. So you're like, I know
We
what.
just need a little farmer's market trip.
Get you back, right? You just need a little farmer's market trip.
That's it.
Went to the farmer's market before work, stopped at, like, my favorite little coffee shop. I don't really drink coffee, but just stopped in there to, like, do some journaling.
Yeah.
And then I went to work, and I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this per se, but I can do this.
Finding pockets of joy surrounding, we do have to be, especially, I think sometimes we forget we're adults. Like, we have free will.
I would like to forget sometimes.
But
you're right, we do have free will.
but we can create our day. We create the flow. So like, if I know I'm working 10 to 6, that means if I plan to get up a little earlier some days you might want to sleep in.
Yeah.
If I got up a little earlier today, that means I have space to do this. I got this little pocket window.
Yes.
Let me do something for me.
Yes.
And not just waiting for a Saturday when I'm completely off, because that might just be a rest of the day where I don't want to get out the bed.
Exactly.
So throughout every day, we have opportunities to create what it is we want our life to look and feel
Yes.
like. So finding those pockets of joy. I got off early today. Let me
go do a little.
It's Sunday now. We shoot content. This means everything.
This is what we stay here.
This sets the tone for the week.
Yeah.
I will have a good week now.
Yeah.
Because I got to have this session with Keimaya.
Yes. Likewise.
We're literally going into June this week. Oh my God. Please.
You just kind of ruined my
Yeah.
day a little.
I'm so,
you see how the energy?
But like,
oh no, it's okay.
I ruined my own.
You
Yeah.
know.
Because what are we talking about at that point? What are we talking about? What are we talking
It
about?
is about to be June.
Okay.
But we're here.
We are here.
Are we done?
We could be. You didn't have anything else?
We say that.
We say it because we're going to do it again.
We can't get too much.
We can't give y'all
so-
everything. And
We
it's
gotta.
probably already really long.
Yeah.
I have fun.
Me too.
Yeah. So guys,
What's tea? What's up? What you want to say?
I don't
You want me to say it?
I'm gonna say you don't even know.
Oh, what you want to say? Okay, what you want to say?
And I don't know if this will actually make it into the episode or not, but I'm gonna say it. We're gonna see what her reactions to.
Okay.
So regardless of how Keimaya feels, this is actually like how I present ideas to her. This is a podcast, okay?
I've been waiting. You can finish. I'll let you finish.
I'm sorry. This is literally like I'm sitting here and I'm like, this would give me life. I need this. And more so than me, y'all need this. I know y'all need this. So pressure Keimaya in the comments to just let this be a thing.
Okay. I give y'all permission to pressure me.
Tell her to just say yes. Let's just
I
do
never
it.
said no, y'all, by the way.
She never did. But also,
I give y'all permission to pressure me. My answer is gonna be yes.
thank you.
But like y'all can just go ahead and pressure me if y'all want
Pressure
to.
her. Because I feel like there's too much here. There's too much here.
Is it giving talk show?
It's giving.
Come to the orange couch and get your
Wait
life.
a minute, because you just like did something. Don't.
We gotta end this episode, Brie.
Okay. We gonna see y'all later. Okay. We
Because
gonna
we
talk
was about to start a whole.
Y'all don't even understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna powwow about it when we turn this off. But this was beautiful.
This was really good.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it.
No, it's a little too much. Yeah.
Pleasure's good.
Yes.
You should enjoy yourself. What else we came here to do?
Yeah.
Just suffer?
No.
That's disgusting.
You don't have
Okay.
a point?
Any closing remarks?
You got something?
I do have something.
Say
I just
something.
want to thank the people for watching. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. What just happened? I like see out the corner of my eye.
I'm over here like
she
dying.
good?
Yeah, I'm straight. I'm straight.
I want to thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for supporting. I hope to catch y'all at some of the next Blooming Motion events. And see y'all just in these digital internet meta, unfortunately, streets.
So what Keimaya said, thank you guys for watching so much. We can't wait to do this again. Let us know if there's anything that stuck out to y'all. Leave a comment, please. Talk to us.
Talk to us.
We are talking.
If you have any questions,
Yes.
things
Comment,
you would give us some. We didn't have structure this time. Tell us
No.
what y'all want to hear from us.
Yeah, give us something.
Give us some. Not give us
Give us
something.
something.
Like they gave us
They
nothing.
gave us nothing. It's giving nothing. Why y'all giving us nothing? Give us something.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
Bye. Bye, y'all.
We did that on the list of things we did.
I'm getting high, closer to my dream.